Ever wonder what 20 million sports cars looks like? Tim Banazek found out. Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. So this is kind of an Attic Find Friday, I guess. It is a wild story and exciting, and I haven't seen any videos on YouTube about it yet. And I've had probably a dozen people email the story to me or send it to me in some fashion, so thank you to those of you who have. This story comes to us via the Seattle Times. It's also originated in the New York Times, but I don't have a New York Times subscription, so it was convenient that the story was reproduced in the Seattle Times. Our main character today is a man named Tim Banazek, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The article describes him as a chipper father of five, 50-something years old. Back in 2021, he owned multiple businesses, and he was selling one, or it was early COVID anyway. He was selling one of the businesses, and he had a void in his life, and he decided to go out and buy some sports cards. Some early 1980s boxes of cards to open, and he got really excited. He said it was the nostalgia of it that brought him back into the hobby, and he started posting on Facebook about it. And somebody messaged him privately and said, "Tim, don't keep buying things off of eBay. My father has a collection. He's selling it, and it will have everything you want." It was only 15 minutes away. So Tim agreed to go and look at it. He was interested in buying a collection, and he got there and was completely blown away by how many cards there were and how big the space was, completely full of 3,000 count boxes of cards. He knew immediately it was millions of cards. Now, if you're going to buy a collection like I did with the Vermont collection, you need to have supplies. And this video is sponsored by the Penny Sleever. The Penny Sleever is the best supplies company in the industry. Put your cards in sleeves, in semi-rigids, in top loaders, in mags, whatever you're going to do. You can use my code JWH at checkout for your first order at thepennysleever.com. Make sure you do. The link is in the description here, JWH for 10% off. Now, Tim Banazek, it's really interesting. This collection was privately held, and before this, it was believed that the biggest collection was owned by a man named Paul Jones, who had 2.8 million cards and claimed that his was the largest private collection in the world. This one, though, is estimated to be 20 million, and one private appraiser thinks it could be as many as 40 million cards. So you're talking roughly 10 times as big as that previously known one. The previous owner of this collection was private, very private, collected it privately over the course of 50 years. And I'm going to show some of the cards here, just completely at random, that I grabbed. These are on Tim Banazek's Facebook page. They're out publicly, so I grabbed some, but I'm giving credit to him because they are his photos. The previous owner had them in a concrete outbuilding behind what they called a low-slung ranch house on a country road in rural Virginia. So if you're in Virginia, Tim welcomes people to go look at this. He went by to look at the collection, was blown away. And they said that there was a private collector flying in to come and look at it that day. So Tim made them an offer they couldn't refuse, and he bought it. And they obviously had to cancel that person's flight or tell them to turn around. Probably not. And he then went about the difficult task of getting those cards out of that outbuilding. He had a friend come over, they loaded up a 3-row Lincoln Navigator SUV, and it didn't even make a dent in the collection. So they had to do 20 car trips. They filled 3 15-foot U-Hauls and 2 20-foot U-Hauls of cards and moved it into an old antique store, old antique building nearby that they had leased just for this purpose. They started going through it, and the finds, this is everybody's dream. Tell me in comments what you would do if you obtained a 20 million card collection. He's been going through it for 3 years and posting about it on Facebook a lot publicly, and somehow it just got noticed by the news. I had never heard of this. I don't know if nobody had ever mentioned it to me, so pretty awesome. So in this building that he has a 1,000 square foot storeroom what they say is drowning in 3,000 count boxes of cards and 3 other full rooms. And you can see, I've got a couple pictures here, staggering. He has every Topps card from 1954 to 2016, 3 decades of basketball and football cards, 10,000 Michael Jordan cards, 6,000 Kobe, and 4,000 LeBron cards. For some reason, they only told those 3, but that's still pretty cool. Lots of Mantle and Mays and Hank Aaron, tons and tons of all this stuff. It's unbelievable. Hundreds of signed bats and balls, uncut sheets rolled up. Tim believes that he has only gone through 5 to 10% of the collection. Think about that. 3 years, he's gone through 5 to 10% of it. He was inventorying the collection, and he stopped after 80,000 cards, which is only 0.4% of the entire collection. A private appraiser says that a conservative estimate is that it's worth $5 million. But because they've only gone through 5 to 10% of the collection, there are untold treasures in there. Nobody knows. Considering the cards that I've shown here that they found looking through maybe 10% of it, can you imagine what else could be in here? What would you be looking for? What would you hope to find? That rare gem that you would want? Let me know in comments. For me, any of the crazy T206s, the Babe Ruth, Baltimore News, all kinds of things come to mind that I would love to find that would be epic. The article says that he was like a kid who had discovered the keys to a candy warehouse, and that would be me too. It would be so much fun. This guy's clearly a genuine collector, having a ton of fun with this, which is awesome to see. So what's he doing now? Tim says that he's trying to decide what to do. He wants to display it so more people can see it. He's trying to find a unique way or an effective way to display the whole set. He is considering taking things on tour from the collection, which would be really interesting. I'd love to see how that would work. He's also considering a podcast where he talks about cards that are in the collection and the history behind those cards, which I would welcome him to the YouTube community. I think that would be amazing. Any updates that come up on this one, I will include in my newsletter, also linked in the description of this video, junkwaxhero.com, free weekly newsletter. I do all kinds of updates like this, and that's it for this story. Again, let me know in comments, what would you most want to find in this collection? Thanks very much for watching.